Hello and welcome back to the Game Bet Match Podcast. I'm your host, Manny Friedman, along with my co-host.
Brad Sloan.
Back in the house, baby. Day 3 in a row.
Yeah. Yeah. Three
Pods.
pods
That's
in a row. I mean,
fantastic.
it's the US Open weekend, so I guess we have to, right? It's like a rule.
I guess so. I mean, it's actually nice in a way that we can get some content out. Like they don't start this slam on a Sunday. Winston-Salem finished like yesterday, so like there's like a full day just to consume and like release content, which is like quite nice for
I
once.
agree. I
So,
agree.
I mean, it was kind of sad that there was no tennis on today. Like that's not something that's very common in this sport, but
It is. It is rare that there is a day without tennis. I will agree with you on
yeah,
that.
yeah. So, all right. So we're back to preview the Tuesday round one matches, which are the top
I
half.
did want to quickly, before we get into
Okay.
Tuesday, just take a couple minutes and summarize up a couple of things that I added in for round one after reviewing things.
Like for
So I
Monday?
guess just what?
Like for Monday?
Yeah, for Monday. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, for
All right.
Monday after reviewing things. So Um, I like Matt's on the money line. I think you were on Matt's at minus
I
105
was,
against
yep.
Pedro. I'm on that now as well.
Okay.
I agree with your logic. I do think, like I think there's a little more, maybe of an advantage to backing a guy who got through the qualies. And that line's now down to minus 105. So it's, close to pick, but it's not, a little bit better than pick. It's close enough to Brit to plus money that I'm willing to get on it. I think we had both talked about the boo over, but I'm definitely on that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't end up playing the Yoshi Mio match. I stared at it for like an hour, and I
See,
ended up
it's
not
funny.
playing
I
it.
ended up playing it, and I'm playing the under 37.5.
All right, that's funny. Um, I am gonna play the over 3.5 sets in Schwartzman won't fee at minus 145.
Okay, I'm
Um,
not. I'm backing.
I understand it. I think, yeah, that's probably me liking won't fee a little bit too much. Pericard Echeverry set one tiebreak is at plus 185. I'll be on that.
Okay, I'm on the over 10.5, but yeah, I see.
It's the same idea.
I get it. Yeah.
It's basically the same thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, we talked Opelka. Talked Rinky. What else? What else? What else? I was going through it. That may be it for things to add. Yeah, I think in terms of things to add, I think that's it. So I think we talked about everything else. So,
Okay.
yep, yeah, that's it in terms of things that I was going to add. I'm sure we can go to Tuesday.
Yeah, I didn't add anything. I am leaning towards Rune now that it's down to minus 155. Like that's getting to the price where I think it's might be worth backing him
I would
instead.
definitely lean Rune. I would definitely lean Rune. It's not a play for me yet, but I definitely start leaning Rune at that price. Like, yeah,
It's
I
really
do.
moving in Nakashima's favor, and I think it's moving a little bit too much.
Well, what
Like,
about playing like if you wanted to get something with a better price? What about like Rune? Like what about like a minus 1.5 sets for Rune? Are you worried about physicality for Rune if it goes 5 sets?
not worried necessarily about physicality. I'm worried more about like his tendency to just like throw away sets. Like Rune does
Fair
that.
enough. Fair enough. Yeah, fair
So
enough.
like I think 3-1 or 3-2 is probably the most likely. Like I kind of like the Rune 3-2 at plus 450, 420, honestly.
Yeah.
Minus 1.5 sets is plus 105. I'm gonna monitor it throughout the day, but like if there's any more pro Nakashima steam, I'm gonna be on Rune there.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat if there's a significant amount
Like
of
minus
Naxxramas team.
150, and I'm probably gonna have to
Yeah, like
pounce.
if that gets to a playable money line, I think that's what I'm thinking about. I think we're on the same boat, man. Like if it gets to a playable money line, meaning like a minus 140, minus 135, I
Yeah.
think you'd almost have to play Rune. He certainly isn't a guarantee to win, but I mean, he should be able to beat Nakashima.
Yeah, and I don't want to like lay games with him. Like he could throw away a 6-1 set. I just want to play money line. So I'm
Yeah.
looking for that to go down to like minus 145. So Greek Sport is down from -6 to -5.5. I mean, you were kind of like leaning that way, right?
Yeah, I'm getting close to that too. Playing Greek sport at this point, I looked at that too.
Yeah. All right. Not too much line movement elsewhere. My favorite play of the day, it's not GBM because you're not on it, is the Zverev Martyr under 31.
Yeah.
I absolutely
I
love
hear you
that.
on it. It probably will end up coming in, but I don't know. I'm just chicken to play Zverev like 3-0s. I don't know. Like he
Okay.
but he's gotten a lot better with that. You're right. Like he has gotten better with like putting these guys away a
It's
little
also a
quicker.
Martyr fade. Like I don't like Martyr,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know? So yeah, I had a heated debate with John Tidbits tennis on the GBM play of the Darderi money line against Baez.
Yeah, I don't think Tennis Master liked it too much either. So we're getting a little pushback on
Yeah,
that, which is interesting.
yeah,
Um
which is
I
cool, right? Like we can go against
yeah, I mean I
the
think
public. Like,
like I think the one piece that I get is I understand when a guy retires and then comes out and plays like absolute crap the next match. It's a little scary. So I'd probably rather have I'd probably rather place down on a book that doesn't where you're like or place some kind of bet there that doesn't that you're safe if there's retirement.
but I think we've been prisoner in the past of weighing that too much, right? Um,
Well, that's why I'm still willing to back it, right? Like I'm not saying it takes me off it. I'm just saying I understand it. But I agree with you on that too. And it's also, I mean, the injury was what in Cincinnati, right? So that's 2 full weeks essentially to recover.
mhm.
You'd hope.
I mean, I don't think Darderi is necessarily terrible on hard. Like I think the win against Tabilo was impressive. He also took Paul's 6-4, 7-6 in Acapulco. And I know those are only like two results, but like sometimes you can take something out of losses. If he produced some good tennis in a loss, against a top guy, I think but it was close. It was, competitive. I
Well,
think.
it wasn't Acapulco. It was Canada that he played Paul Tough, which is relevant because Acapulco is so slow.
Oh, I thought Tabilo was Canada.
Tabilo was Cincinnati.
Oh, okay.
He didn't play Acapulco. He did the Golden Swing.
Oh, right. And then Paul was in Canada. What was that? 4-6.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's backing my take even more,
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was on like a medium
right?
pace hard court. He was competitive against a good player.
Right. And Baez, if you look, he's done absolutely nothing.
Since the Winston-Salem title last year.
Right. I mean, that's over a year ago.
I know.
So yeah, and
I'm
plus,
still on it. I think it's a flip. I can see an argument for bias. I don't think it's a ridiculous argument. Yeah.
all right. All right, let's move on to Tuesday here. So let's share the screen. All right, so Tuesday, 11 a.m. matches. We got Alejandro Tabilo against David Goffin. Tabilo is a 2.5 game favorite, -150 on the money line. Goffin is plus 125. The over/under is 38.5.
Yeah,
Um,
I love to be low here.
Me too. At this price, I think it's fantastic. Are
Yeah.
you playing the money line?
No, I'm gonna lay the games, the 2.5. I don't think the 2.5's a big deal. I don't think the 2.5's a big deal with golf fan, just his game style. There's his service, he doesn't have much of a serve, so there's plenty of breaks. Um, yeah, so I'll be and the other thing is like Tabilo didn't play he didn't win a 250 the week before a slam. So I feel like he'll be in better he's probably more prepared and maybe it also shows, I mean, we'll see, right? It also could be, to your point, kind of like a I don't know, I talked about this a little bit with a few players, but like a maturation into like
Yeah.
uh these bigger tournaments being more important for Tabilo now. and maybe a recognition that he's gonna, maybe it's made more focused towards bigger tournaments and less focused on just trying to rack up titles or rack up results. He's now in the top 20, right? Or he's in the top 30. So, yeah, and he's not top 20, he's in the top 30, but like he's now in a position in his career where he doesn't need every point.
Right. Right.
It's different when you're in the ranked 70 versus ranked 30, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so, and he's a better player than Goffin at this point, and he's got way more power, like way more weapons.
Yeah.
I mean, he could make a lot of errors. The weather's supposed to be, I think, really nice tomorrow, so that like hot is fine. I think for it to be low. I don't think it's supposed to be particularly windy, which I think is good for it to be low. So yeah, I expect him to. I expect him to do quite well. I think that I'm laying the games, but I also think the -1.5 sets is playable at +115. I think either of those is a good look.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I mean, I'm looking at GoFan recently in slams. He lost for, I mean, he did qualify, but well, as a lucky loser, and then lost him a Hawk 7-6 in the fifth at Wimbledon. Lost to Zverev pretty easily in Roland Garros after beating Pericard in five. And then he lost first round to Ugo Humbert after qualifying at the Australian Open. US Open last year, he lost first round qualifying. So like I'm looking at like GoFan's like recent best of five history. Hasn't been great.
Here's another interesting tidbit on you. This year, Goffin is 1-7 against top 50 players.
Wow. Okay.
The only win is Darderi last week at Winston-Salem.
Yeah, it doesn't tell me much. Right? Like that's
And
not
like it kind of makes sense. Like I just feel like at this point in his career, he doesn't have the game to match up. Like he used to be. I mean, like look, he's old. Like he used to be. He used to be quicker. He used to be. He used to be
Mhm.
able to be quicker and take the ball early and like redirect and play fine
Yeah.
against guys at this caliber. But I just don't know if he can do that anymore. Like it's just he's a little slower, and I think that's a major problem for him.
Yeah, and there are no real quality wins. Like the last top 50 guy he played was Kaboli, and he lost to him 6-3 in Washington. You know, he beat Chapo, but like that, whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I really like this bet. This is GBM for me. And the reason is like
yeah.
I love bets when I can understand why the market like thinks something and why I have a different take. Right? Like in this case, I think this take is what it is because of Tabilo's lack of success in slams.
Hmm.
And my thought is that I don't really care as much because he didn't like, unlike the other, unlike the Australian and the French where he won a slam the week before the event, or
Right.
not the won a
But
slam,
we'll
won
want a
a
250, right?
title the week before the event. Like this time he's coming in without, with a week off.
Well, he won events before Australia and Wimbledon, and then I guess it's similar at the French because he was coming off the Rome semi, which was like a huge deal for him.
Right,
Right.
right.
So like, yeah, he was coming off a huge high, off of basically all three slams. I tend to agree with you, and I don't know. I don't see any good wins from GoFan that would match this win, right? Like if
Like
he
I think this line is like well off. Like I think this should be up at like 5. You know what I mean? Like I honestly like I think this line is way off. And that's probably a little
I still
ridiculous.
think GoFan, like I feel like the market also kind of still views him with some like unwarranted respect because of his track record as a former top 10 player and all that, right? Like
Maybe, I don't
I think
know.
he gets a
Maybe there's a
little bit of
casual
name
market there.
recognition.
What?
I think he gets a little bit of name like false name recognition.
Maybe there's a little bit of a casual betting take there. I don't know that I agree with that.
Okay.
I think this is about Tabilo's lack of slam success.
I tend to agree with you. Are you what would you rather make GBM? The sets or
I would ride. I mean, I'd rather lay the 2.5 to make GBM. I don't. Yeah.
all right, let's do it. Let's do it. I like it.
I mean, I actually think this could be like Tabilo could run away with this. Like,
Yeah. I tend to agree with you. All right, next match is Lestien and Thompson. So Lestien is a 7-game dog plus 475 on the money line. Thompson minus 700. The over under is 34. Um, I kind of like the under here. Lestien has really been like just just a complete clown, honestly. Like I don't know what's up with him.
I mean, he's always been a little bit of a clown. Like,
Yeah, not
I mean, I
healthy.
don't know. I don't like. I don't know, man. Like, he did take a set off Musetti at Wimbledon, right? Granted, it was the first set of the tournament for Musetti, but he did take the first set off a guy who made the semis at Wimbledon. Um, he did play Opelka tight. Like, to me, this is just a mess of a match to play because, like, the way I feel like this is probably a better match to play live because I do think like
If you see
I
Lestien clowning, like
yeah, like I don't yeah.
take the minus 3.5 in a set or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. Like if West Chen loses like a tight third set or something, if he somehow wins the first, you could probably play the fourth as like an under 8.5 or something, like but
I mean, I think if you want to back Lestien in any capacity, you have to shorten the finish line and play the set one money
yeah, I mean
line.
the only way I think if you wanted to play West Chen, the only way to play it would be plus 255 in the first set.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. Like if you wanted to play West Chen. Um but I mean the seven is tempting, laying the seven.
Yeah, just because there's that chance of a 6-1 fourth set or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so you would prefer laying the 7 than taking the under just because of like a chance of
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean the problem is like
what's Thompson minus 1.5 sets? You're probably not going to get a good price. Yeah, it's minus 310. That's
yeah. I mean, that's not actually that terrible of a price, but yeah, I mean, the problem is like Les Chien's taken a set. No, he hasn't. He hasn't quite covered against Altmaier, but like, yeah, I don't know. I think this is pretty right. Like Les Chien, I'm looking up something here. Last since 2022 in slams, he's taken a set in 6 of the 8 matches.
mm-hmm.
Um, Like, what is 3-1? See the pro? Yeah, I mean, problem is 3-1 for Thompson's only plus 240. I don't know. I feel uh, like Les Chan for two sets actually has a chance. Like for like one of the 2 sets, he may come out and play decently well and like have a chance, and then I expect him to fade out. But
I kind
yeah,
of would want to play the LWWW at like 7-1 or 8-1. Like that would be
yeah,
a fun look here.
I agree. I agree with that take. I think, but given the lines that are up, I think if he wanted to play it, like if he wanted to play it for Les Chen, I think this has to be the first set money line. And I think if you want to play this for Thompson, I think you'd want to lay the 7 games.
Yeah. All right.
And I
There,
could see making the argument for laying the 7 games with Thompson. I really could. I'm close on that. Yeah.
the thing is, he doesn't have the biggest weapons, right? So like, if he's just like really off, I don't know. Uh, yeah, on first glance, I like the under, but when you see Lestien's results, kind of like taking a set or two, yeah, I'm probably off the under 34, but yeah, I'm gonna see if there's a book that has like to lose the first set but win the match kind of thing, and if you get like 7 or 8-1, I think that's That's the way to attack that match.
Yeah, I mean, if you could, yeah, I doubt you would get like on that particular bet. I doubt you would get that. I think you'll probably get more like 4-1, 5-1. Because like even if Les Chen wins the first set, like it's like even if he wins the first set, like I still don't like. I mean, that would be another thing to like is like another live look would be if Les Chen does win the first set,
But what are
you
you going
make
to
it
get
a
on
decent
Thompson?
price.
Considering he's a 7-game favorite, you're probably only going to get like minus 110, maybe?
I mean, that would be fine, right? If I got minus 110 on Thompson to win the match after losing the first set, I'd be thrilled.
Okay. I mean, do you
Um,
think you're going to get that? Maybe you might get minus 135 or minus 140.
I'd be thrilled even for that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, I mean, like, yeah, I don't see Les Chen playing 5 sets of tennis.
No, me neither. I mean, he might play, but he might clown on us too.
My point is, I don't see him playing 5 sets of serious tennis, right? Like, I feel like if he does
I
that, he'll
don't
have to
see
fade
him.
away a set
I
or
don't see
two.
him playing 2 sets of serious tennis.
Yeah, I don't either.
All right. Jakub Mensik against Felix Auger-Aliassime. Mensik is a 5-game dog plus 260 on the money line, over under 37.5. I kind of like laying the 5 here with FAA. I mean, this is probably not going to be a very popular pick, but I think Mensik struggles physically. I think best of 5 is not good for him. And like I've been impressed with what I've seen from FAA, besides the Canada match against Kaboli, but I think you got to throw that one out. Granted, he was coming off the Olympics. But decent run in Canada, making the quarters, right? And losing to Drake. What was it? Was it round of 16 or quarters?
Yeah.
I don't remember, but like, decent there, good showing at the Olympics. I think he's finding his way into form, and like I kind of like the laying the 5 here. But I don't think it's going to be a popular pick by any means. Like Mensik has some hype.
I
But I
mean, the hype has died down a little bit because he hasn't done anything. He literally has not done anything since that Doha
right, but
final.
I could also see Mensik fading away physically later in the match. I think that's a
I get that take. I don't think it's a bad take. I was close on it. Like I would definitely lean FAA, but I'm not on it. I think that is a good take. Um, I'm looking up a couple of things with FAA. My issue, I think, with FAA is that if I remember right, I think he's a bit of a slow starter in tournaments.
yeah.
Um, so that'd be my concern. I do have a play here. I took the set one tiebreak at plus 350. Like again, it gets you kind of off of the physical concerns.
FAA hasn't played a first set tiebreak since Gstaad when he played Berrettini.
Yeah, I was looking a little bit at the longer data. Um, and he's played eight first set tiebreaks in his last 25 first round matches. If you take out Clay, it's 7 in his last 20. So that's what I was looking at, but I hear you. That's a fair point. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really mind that. That's okay.
Mensik played a tiebreak his last 2 matches against Vukic and Koric. He played a first set tiebreak.
Okay.
Obviously, those guys aren't as good as FAA, but the line here is plus 350. FAA can be a little bit of a slow starter. Yeah, I mean that's my thought there.
His
But
return game
I think
has improved.
what?
His return game has improved.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
I mean, he's breaking 4% more than he was last year. I mean, last year he was putrid, but 4% is a big jump. And he's winning 36.3% of return points this year, as opposed to 34.9% last year. So slight improvement there.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
I'm just looking at his round one stats. 13-6 in the last 52 weeks. Beat Kova first round in Cincy, 3-1. Kaboli lost, but we talked about that. Olympics beat Giron pretty easily. Wimbledon choked against Kokonakis. That wasn't good. Halle Kopfer, that was a fishy retirement. Roland Garros, Yoshi beat him pretty easily. Beat Yoshi pretty easily in Madrid. I mean the martyrer match in Munich, that was, I mean, you can tell us about that one. Um, Monte Carlo beat Nardi pretty badly. I mean, so I'm gonna fade that take that he struggles in first rounds. I think it's more that he's just playing better tennis at this point than he was at any point last year. Like last year he
Yeah,
struggled in
I
every
hear
match.
you. It's also that he's been this way for a long time. If you remember back in 2023, when we first started the podcast, we would talk about this, FA being a slow starter. And that's when he was playing better. So I don't I don't know. But I hear you. Like, I don't think that like, I think you're on the right line.
Hmm.
Like, if you're gonna play this, I think you either want to play something pro Mensick in set one or something pro FAA or lay games with FAA. Because I do think Mensick is much more likely than FAA to go away physically.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I mean, like Basel 22 when he was playing really well, he lost the first set to Husler, 7-6. And US Open against a Richard, right, in 22 when he made the semis. Or did he make the semis that year? Or was that 21? It may have been 21. But like 22, I mean that he lost the set to Richard.
I
And then
mean, you can look at this, right? Like in his career, he's won one, two. In his career, he's had three straight set wins. He's had 21 first round matches in slams in his career, and he's
Mhm.
won in straight sets three times.
And who are those opponents?
Stevie, obviously that was back in 2021, so it was a while back. But Stevie in 2021, Montero at Wimbledon in 2021, and Yoshi this year at Roland Garros.
Hmm.
Like I said, that's why I think like I don't hate laying the five though with Felix because I do think like you could get there with a 3-1.
But then I would rather just play the 3-1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I at plus 260, I'm actually leaning that way. I mean, that stat of only winning three times in straight set in his career, like that's alarming. Because
I
like
guess
to
that's
cover a
first
five game
rounds. I
spread,
guess that's first rounds. 3 out of 21. Let me see.
yeah, but still, like that's when you're theoretically playing the weakest opponent and you're still only
Yeah.
covering in straights three times out of 21. Like that's not a good trend. And to cover five, like yes, it could happen in four, but like, FA is still like I've praised him for returning better, but that doesn't mean he's a necessarily good returner. And like Mensick has a pretty decent serve. It's not like, Baez,
Yeah, for sure. For
right?
sure.
So I'm probably gonna just play the 3-1 line then at plus 260.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm gonna do. Are you off this match completely?
No, I'm on the first set tiebreak.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm looking. He does have more straight set wins than that in his career in slams. But not in round ones, which again kind of like goes towards that like slow start issue.
Okay. Fair point. All right, Mariano Navoni against Daniel Altmaier. Ugh. Two clay guys. Navoni's a 3.5 game dog, plus 145 on the money line. Altmaier's minus 175, over under 37. Um, I'm just gonna close my eyes and place a bet here. I do not want to watch this match, but I'm on the Navoni money line at plus 145. I don't like what I'm seeing from Altmaier as of late. He's actually really struggled. Um,
Like as dumb as this sounds, I think I would make this GBM. I mean,
wow. Wow.
Olmeier's
Altmaier's
lost
been
his
awful.
last. How many wins does Olmeyer have at main level this year? All right, it's not as bad as I thought. He's 13-24 at main level. Oh no, that's last 52 weeks. This year he's I guess somehow he's won 10 matches at main level this year. I don't know how, but somehow he has. Um,
He beat Jerry in at the French
yeah.
7-6 in the fifth, and he beat Arthur Ferry first round at Wimbledon.
But he's lost his last six. I mean, Navoni's been like he's not winning, but he's been a little more competitive his last couple matches. Like he's not gonna. I mean, even in the first set against Fritz, he was competitive. I think a lot of that was probably more Fritz than Navone, but like I get it. Navone's game just doesn't play well on clay. But I think this is pretty close to 50-50.
But 6-3 against Lechka in Cincinnati, like it's not a win, but that's a decent loss, right? It's not like he's losing 2-1, right? Like it
For
shows
him, it's a decent loss, you know? Like, I mean, like the standard is really low here. Like to
it.
me, this is like this match should not be in the tournament. Yeah, honestly, right? Like if you were taking the best 100 hardcores in the world
Yeah.
or the best 128 hardcores in the world, I don't think either. I don't. Navona doesn't make the list for me. I don't think Altmaier does either. Maybe Altmaier sneaks in barely, but it's close. I mean,
Well, Altmaier in this form, like he's been awful recently.
right,
Altmaier.
right. I mean, the rules of tennis state that they just take the top, X number of guys and give them direct entry, and like that's why both these guys are in the tournament. But yeah, based on like, yeah, this match is not. It's not an ideal match.
I mean, the fact that we're backing Mariana Navoni on a hardcourt slam is like that's all you need to know about this match.
Yeah, I mean for real, for real.
Like I can't believe I'm saying that, but yeah, I mean
But I
I'm
mean, is
putting,
losing to Rinky 6-1 and Mutet 1-4 in Cincinnati and Montreal any better than what Navoni's done?
no. 6-3 against Lechka is better than 3-1 against Mute.
Or 6-1 against Rinky. So like,
Right.
yeah, I mean, I think that, and like, yeah, I don't know. I think Navoni's, there's a physical, maybe not physicality edge, but I don't see any significant problems for Navoni other than the fact that his game doesn't suit hardcore at all.
Well, Altmaier's actually going to have to generate some decent level of tennis because Navoni, one thing he does do is make balls.
Yeah,
He doesn't do
yeah,
anything with the ball, but he's going to make Altmaier like win points.
yeah. I mean, I
Oh,
don't think this is a shoo-in in any way. I can actually even see why you would favor Altmaier, but I just think plus 145 is way too much.
agreed. Agreed.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm on Navoni here, and I would make this GBM.
I'm not going to make it GBM, but
I hear you.
I'll
It'd be
be
a tough
honest. I'm
take,
not
but yeah.
Navoni on a hard court in GBM. Like, no, no. We're
Hey,
not going to build that reputation. All right.
you know what? For me, it's a price. Like there's a price and two
Okay.
guys,
All
so we'll
right.
take it.
I get it. I just like I like the play. It's just like I'm not putting 2 units on it, you know?
I get it. Fair enough.
Sissipas Kokonakis. I like Kokonakis here. I'm gonna do the dog over combo. That's the
Okay.
play, and it's a high over under, but like it doesn't really matter to me. Like I either way, if you want to play this 5 sets or the over 40.5, I think any overs are good here. I think the set one tiebreak is a good over at plus 225. I'm probably gonna hit that too. I think that's something you like too. I also like that this match is 11 a.m., and if it's sunny, that the conditions are going to be a little bit faster. It's on grandstand. So,
Yeah.
like the outer courts tend to play a little quicker than like if this was on Armstrong or Ash.
Yeah.
So I think that plays that in favor. And if you remember correctly, last year, one of the matches of the tournament was 11 a.m. It was Stricker against Tsitsipas in Grandstand. And
Yeah.
Stricker came out on top and won in 5 sets. And like I think we cashed like the money line, we cashed the plus 4.5. Like
Oh,
we
that was a great day. That was a
a great
fantastic day.
day.
It was like an 8-1. We cashed so many bets. It was amazing.
So
Um,
I see like a similar writing on the wall here.
okay. Um, so the difference is that price was like insane, right? That I can't remember like what that price was like something over. I think the price was like 7-1, 8-1, something like that, right? That money line. Like it
Mm,
was a big price we got on
I
Stricker Plus.
remember playing the game. I think I took the games at like plus 4.5 or 5.5 or
Oh, I
whatever.
think you got more than that. I think you probably got like 7, 7.5, something like that. It was
Yeah,
a,
maybe it was 6.5. Yeah.
like this line is not that. This is a much more reasonable line.
Kokonakis is also a better player than Stricker is.
I agree for sure. For sure. My biggest issue with Kokonakis, man, is like I just don't know that I like, and this is kind of a Manny take, but I trust Tsitsipas way more at the end of sets than Kokonakis.
Hmm.
Especially against like players with a big name. Like, or like in a big match, like
I think Tsitsipas has regressed in more than one category. Like I
but he
think
still has a name.
I understand, but like I don't think Tsitsipas is like he has that, that belief now that like late in sets he's that great. But also
Yeah, I hear you.
this is a matchup on a quick court that is pretty good for Kokonakis. Like one thing that Kokonakis can do is hold serve. You know, he has a pretty good first serve that if he gets that to the backhand, he's gonna win a lot of cheap points. And like, listen, I'm playing the money line at plus 240, but like bets I prefer here are either like, taking the 4.5 games, taking the overs, like those are, you know, ones that I believe in more, right? Like, and how is Tsitsipas going to win a set by more than a break? And to cash the over 40.5, I think you just need Kokonakis to win one set.
Well, you'll have to force a set, some like a 175, or force a 12, like
That's
one 12
likely.
game set, maybe two. Yeah, I get it. I definitely like.
You're
I
never taking Tsitsipas here, right?
No, no, and like I said, like if I had more faith, honestly, it's a Manny take. But if I had more faith in Kokonakis at the end on big points, I would do it. But there's just too many examples of Kokonakis in like what would be like a quote unquote big match, just crapping the bed. Like he did it like 2 weeks ago against not 2 weeks, a month ago against Quarter when he had match point, and then just like he lost that match point on that weird frame job, and then like that was it. Like
Kokonakis is always due for a nice choke job. Let's put it that way.
yeah, there's Murray. There's the choke job against Murray. There's the choke job Like, there's to me, there's just too many instances of there's even Fritz when he or not Fritz Zverev this year, and I think Los Cabos when he went like 1 for 20 on break point or 0 for 20 on break point. I don't know if you remember that, like, or maybe it was something insane. I can actually
Yeah.
look it up. But there was a match where he had like insanely terrible break point stats against Zverev. Like he's just like
Yeah,
0
he's
for
not the mentally toughest guy by any stretch of the.
and I just it's one of those like I get it. Like I get it. 'Cause from a tennis perspective, I think it makes a lot of sense, but it's hard for me to love any of these lines. Like maybe Tanasi plus the 4.5, or maybe the over. I think the over. I think either of those could make sense. Like Tanasi should be able to find a set.
I mean, you're talking me off the money line. I'm probably still gonna hit it, but like you're talking me off of it for sure.
Yeah, like if I was gonna play this, my play would be the over 40.5. I think that I agree with. I think that it is a high. It's a high total though. That's the
It's
challenge,
high, but it's
Like
conditions should be pretty quick.
the
This
only problem is like both of these guys are also like even Tsitsipas now is prone to handing away a break.
I
And
know.
Kokonakis is too. He could just bomb. Like Kokonakis could smash 3 balls in the net for no reason. Like it's just like
Yeah,
look,
when
I think we
Tuesday
can
is
agree
sunny
this
and
line does
85.
not reflect, right? Like this line does not reflect the Tsitsipas of old. Like
No.
some of the Tsitsipas regression is baked into this line. So it depends on how like look, I can see backing Kokonakis. I'm just not doing it. It's solely because of my concerns with him
Mental
just mentally.
problems.
Just
Okay. Have these guys played before?
they must have, I would think, but I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 21 Australian Open. I remember that match. And that's when Tsitsipas was actually good.
Yeah.
And that was a barn burner 5 sets. And I think Kokonakis was coming off an injury there too. So like I think this is a good matchup for Kokonakis. I think this head to head actually it actually matters because like Tsitsipas is so matchup dependent based on like
Yeah.
what he does well and what he doesn't do well. And like this is a type of match that and that supports our claim, right? Like Kokonakis was not mentally strong enough to get over the hump there, right? In his
Again, my challenge is like I think the over is the play because like
yeah, I agree.
but the challenge is like it becomes like what line do you like? Like is it you could play the over, it's a high total, but you could play the over. I think that's the one that's out there.
Yeah.
It's everything else is like because like the problem is like Kokonakis, I think, is the more likely player to just hand away a set, like a 6-1 set for no reason. Just because he gets angry and decides like to smash some rackets and give away a set, like so it's yeah. But I hear you. Like I think the logic makes sense. I mean, yeah, I'd be looking at overs and set one overs here because I do think like
Yeah, I kind of
there
like
shouldn't be a ton of breaks.
I like the over 12 and a half in the first set plus 225. Like that seems like a good
Yeah,
because I feel like Kokonakis is going to be less likely to just throw in a bad service game in the first set. Like
I completely agree.
if he
Yeah,
loses the first set 7-6 and then goes down an early break in the second, like that's when like he can tank.
yeah, I agree.
So all right, Skatov and QB Hurkacz. Oh man, is this a death taxes and QB overs kind of match? Like
I think there's two ways to go. I think you could do that, or you could play the I love the Skatov first set money line. I think her catch the last two slams has dropped the first set to Albot and
it's true. We never thought that he would lose to Albot. Remember we laid games with Albot?
yeah.
Oh. Skatov on a hard
Oh,
court.
actually, here's my
It's like
stat. Here's my stat on this. So in the first set of tournaments, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the last 52 weeks, um, Hubie is 18-2 in the first match of tournaments in the last 52 weeks. But in first sets, I'm actually gonna pull out. I'm gonna pull out a couple matches here. I'll pull out clay matches. So I'll pull out clay matches. So in 15 matches in first matches of events, he's 13-2, but he is. I guess it's not that bad, but he's yeah, I don't know. That's not that bad. It's not as bad as I thought. I had a stat though. Maybe it was slams. Definitely in the slams, he's been not so good in first sets.
Mm-hmm.
Um, first sets of the tournament. So that's my play is Skatov here, set one.
So I'm off of it because Skatov lost the first set in each of his 3 qualifying matches.
That is interesting. That is interesting.
So it's like he's not particularly the quickest starter either. And if you remember correctly, he when he played I think Greekspor in Bastad, he also lost the first set before coming back. So like he's not I've seen multiple instances with him not being a quick starter. So
Yeah,
I'm off of that.
I'm still on it at plus 240. I think he's yeah. I think
I'm probably just gonna
yeah.
close my eyes and hit the over 35. Like it just with Hubie, it just doesn't matter who he plays. Like he finds a way to.
But I like these bets because I think both bets are good because here's the thing is that again, like I don't think Hubie's playing as well. I do think that he's still hurt. I do think there's still a problem there. From what I saw in the matches that I saw him play,
Yeah, he's not all there, and he's not
yeah,
serving quite as well, right? He's not like finding his spots consistently.
yeah. I think he's yeah. I think there's still a slight issue there. So I think backing Skatov is good here. I think the over or the
Over 3.5 sets is minus 120. I think that's playable too.
that could be better than the games. I don't know. Probably is. But 2 tie breaks would get you to the 35, which is always in play with Hubie.
Right, right. I'm probably just gonna do the games. Like
Yeah,
it's Hubie. It's Hubie.
yeah.
You just close your eyes and play the over. Tristan Schoolkate against Tara Daniel. Daniel's a 3-game favorite, minus 175 on the money line. Schoolkate is plus 145. Over under 38. You have a play here?
Um, do I have a play? This is school. Yeah, I do. I like Daniel here, man. I think he's just a way better tennis player than School Kate. Like School Kate's like a qualifier level player for a reason. I can't remember what bet. Am I taking the minus set and a half? I'm trying to look up. I have all my bets written down. I'm trying to find the which one what I ended up taking. But I took Daniel in some capacity here.
Yeah, but Daniel's been really bad. He lost to Fushevik and Winston-Salem. He lost to Well, I guess it's not terrible. Yoshi and Cincy, Canada. Oh yeah, he beat Kovacevic and Kazo. Okay, all right, maybe not as bad as I initially thought.
Yeah, I'm trying to look and see which line I like the best here. Um, yeah, I took the minus 1.5 sets at plus 110. That was my
I think
play
playing
here.
games is dangerous because like Daniel doesn't have the best serve.
Yeah. Um,
I kind of want to wait and see how the conditions are because like I think a quicker court would favor School Kate and a slower court would favor Daniel.
I agree. I just don't think it matters that much. Like one of these guys is a borderline ATP level player. One of these guys is a borderline like mid-tier challenger level player. I know School Kate and School Kate, School Kate, he didn't even qualify, right? Like School Kate got a wild card.
Yeah.
So I don't, yeah, I just think I think there's a gap here in
I mean, I guess you're right. I mean, School Kate lost to Cressy in Washington 1 and 2. And I know that that's a one match like sample size, like but still, like if you're losing to Cressy 1 and 2, like something is wrong.
Yeah, I mean, here's an interesting stat. So in the last 52
Yeah.
weeks,
Yep.
Daniel he's 19-5 against guys outside the top 100.
Hmm.
Some of those guys there's a couple guys in there that are complete scrubs or like outside the top 500, but like there's only a couple. Everybody else is inside the top 3 to 400. So if you're taking a sample of guys ranked between 100 and 300 in the world, that's pretty indicative of what School Kate is.
Hmm.
And he's 19-5 in those matches. Uh yeah, I don't have the most faith in School Kate. Like I said, it's just who's the better tennis player. That's all this is about.
I'm probably gonna back you. I don't think it's quite GBM worthy, but I'll back Daniel minus the 1.5 sets. I just also think rally tolerance is a huge edge for Taro.
I would agree. Yeah, so School Kate's 28. So against guys in the last 52 weeks on non-clay surfaces, or we could just take hard courts. Last 52 weeks on hard courts against guys between 100 and 300 in the world. Um, School Kate is 24-16. Service points one, return points of 102, hold break of 102. And as I mentioned before, Daniel's up at like I'm gonna pull the stats on Daniel.
I mean, Lerner Tien beat him in Winston-Salem, and like I actually think Daniel is like a better version of Lerner.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's a great matchup for School Kate either.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the stats on Daniel 13-4 against guys ranked between 100 and 300 on hard courts in the last 52 weeks. 105 serve points, one return points, 115 hold break. So
Mhm.
I think there's a pretty big gap here.
Okay. All right, next match is Borna Coric and Adrian Manarino. Coric is a 5-game favorite, minus 285 on the money line, over under 37.5. Manarino's plus 225. Man, I hate backing Borna Coric, but like I might have to lay the 5. What are your thoughts?
I'm not on this, man. Like Coric is too up and down, and like Manarino, I know he's not winning, but he's getting close. Like
I kind
I
of like
know
the
he's lost his
Coric. I
last.
kind of like the Coric 3-1.
I think if you're gonna play it, I think if you're gonna play this, what is the over for Coric games?
20.5. I minus 105.
I think if you're gonna play it, that would be the play. You're basically playing Coric 3-1 or 3-2.
I tend to agree. I don't think he's going to win this in straight sets.
Yeah.
5,
Yeah.
you can. I mean, if you lay the 5, he could cover it in 4 sets, I guess. But like 5 is very getting. It's iffy. Then you need like a 6-1 or a 6-love set in there. I kind of like that actually. Coric over the 20.5.
Yeah, I mean, since
Yeah, I'm probably gonna play
June,
that.
right?
Yep.
I think since June, the only win Manarino has is that miracle against Napolitano. Actually, that's the only win since the Miami when he got hurt in Miami against Hoffman.
Mm-hmm.
He is 1-14 since then. And the only win is that miracle against Napolitano when he's down, I think, a set and double break against
Wow.
Napolitano on grass.
Wow.
But on the flip side,
He's been winning sets.
he's won a set in 6 of the last 7. And they've all been against decent players. He won a set against Vukic, Borges, Rinderknech, Bellucci, Opelka, Monfils. And Michelson was 6-7, 6-6-4. So, like, he is like, I don't know, he is having a pulse. He's not winning anything, but he's showing a pulse.
I think he's just so low in confidence that like when push comes to shove, like late in matches, he's just like really struggling to get over the hump.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
it seems like to me.
I'm not playing it, but I do think the Corch over 20.5 is an interesting line at -105.
I'm gonna play it. I like it. I like it. I think that's the way you gotta attack it because Coric is too like that forehand can go awry like at any point and it goes away in bunches, right? Like if his
Yeah.
forehand goes away, it usually is for like a full set until he like finds some timing,
Yeah.
right?
I agree.
So and that Manarino rushing, taking the ball early like that could play with Coric's head. So I don't trust him to win it easily, but like the confidence is so low that like I couldn't play Manarino unless I got like a plus like 400 or 500 price on that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was thinking the exact same way you were, and I was like, yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm toying with the idea of playing that Corch over 20.5. That looks really good.
Okay. All right, Dan Evans and Karakachdov. Talk about two more guys that are struggling. Uh, Evans is a 5-game dog plus 240 on the money line. Over under 37.5. Catching up is -300. Um, I kind of like the catching up 3-1. What do you get on that? 265. That's where my head is. Um, you gotta play?
Complete pass.
Okay. Makes
Like
sense.
I actually don't think the line's that far off. Kachanov's form has been so poor lately. Like you're right. I mean, the 5 matches on hard lost to Sean Hong. He beat Diallo. I guess that's okay, but I would expect Kachanov to beat Diallo. Lost to Arnaldi, beat down Cerundolo. Again, I think that says more about Cerundolo than Kachanov. And he got whipped by Zverev. Like, I'm not even sure Kachanov's playing at a top 50 level right now, to be honest.
I would agree with you. I would agree with you
And
there.
I'm not sure Dan Evans is even playing at a top 200 level.
I would agree with you.
So, like,
But we
by the way,
always
it's
talk
crazy,
about
man. I don't know if you
Kachanov.
saw, but
Kachanov very rarely wins in straight sets, though.
yeah, in slams for sure. Yeah.
Especially the
I
first
don't know if
four.
you saw it. Dan Evans' ranking is outside the top 150
Wow. Wow.
because he lost. I mean, he lost all 500 of those Washington points, right?
Yep. Yep.
He did not try to defend, and he
When he
was
played
not
the
able to
Olympics.
defend.
Played the
What?
Olymp he played the Olympics.
Right. So he didn't defend. He didn't. I'm saying he didn't try to defend, and then he didn't get anything back at Winston Salem. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's just been honestly, it's just been a pretty nightmarish. It's been a nightmare for Evans this season. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll just pass this match. I don't know. I'm leaning to catching up 3-1. Like that's the only play. And if I play that, I want like high plus money.
What is the money line for Kachanov?
-300. It's actually playable.
It is like
Actually playable.
I mean
Given how bad Evans has been.
at ATP level this year, Evans is 4-17.
Hmm.
He's got a win over Rinky, a weird win over Roman in Los Cabos. I remember talking about that one. He beat Sonego at the Miami Masters, and he beat Moez at Cargi at the Olympics. Moez isn't even really a win. He actually took him 3 sets to do that. Like,
Mhm.
so really it's Saflin, Sonego, and Rinky. And Evan's like a confidence player, man. I don't think he's got any faith he can actually win a match.
Right. I would agree with that.
But I think like there's reason for catching up to believe he can still win a tennis match. He's just not playing very well.
And Evans has, I think, third round points to defend here.
Yeah, I think he does too.
Man. All right, next match.
I mean,
Ellie's.
honestly, right? I think a lot of it is. I wonder how much of it is that ankle injury he suffered against TFO at Vienna last year.
That's a good shout out. I didn't even. Now that you bring it up, that makes sense.
I mean, he's 34, right? Like he's an older player, and he's
But
just
it's
been so
weird.
terrible since then.
But it's weird that even like when he was playing well, he'd have like one or two good, really good weeks a year.
Yeah, I know. That's
Like
the well.
he was never a player that would deliver consistent results, but you'd always have when you were betting his matches, you'd always have to use caution because like he could have that really good week, you know?
Yeah,
So he's always been like an enigma with the betting because
yeah.
he's talented and he has rally tolerance. He's decent on like, I, you
It's
know,
his head, man.
it is. It is. So, all right, Elliot Spizzirri against Mickelson. So you're an Elliot Spizzirri enthusiast.
I am. I am. I mean, I've only seen him play like twice, but I don't know. I like these college guys. I like seeing these guys play in college and then come out and do well, on the tour.
Yeah,
I don't have a play here
he
though. I
played a
think this is
fantastic match against Fonseca in qualifying.
yeah.
A fantastic match. That was awesome. And like he choked away that second set. He had 3 match points, I think, on his serve. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But like he had 3 match points and then he lost that. And then he had a lead like in a tiebreak and then couldn't hold on. And Fonseca like won that second set. The crowd was riled up. And then Spizzirri got the early break in the second after having like 8 break points or something like that. And he found a way to like hold his way through. And like that was a very, very impressive performance. I was like thoroughly impressed by the mental effort after choking away the second to come through,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
I mean, I think he's a solid I mean, I think he's a solid player. I just don't know that he's gonna I mean, I don't know if he has a future on the tour. We'll see. But I think he'll be I mean, if for as long as he wants to be, he could be a solid challenger level player. But I think this line is pretty well set. I do think there's something baked in here for Mickelson having a long run at Winston-Salem. I do think that could
Well,
be the
it was an
factor.
embarrassing, honestly, it was an embarrassing performance in the final, right? Like he should have been defaulted and like he lost love and three to Sonego and only won 9 return points. Like that's an
Yeah.
embarrassingly bad performance. So how is he going to respond from that?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
yeah.
tempted to back Spizzirri in some capacity.
Yeah, I won't be, but I think that like it's an interesting idea, you
I kind
know?
of like the Spizzirri set one money line at plus 185. Like that's what I'm like, that's where my eyes are.
Yeah. The only thing I would say against that is that I would say he's not the most orthodox player, and he's also a pretty high IQ player. So I don't know if he's a guy that I love to bet set ones against. It would just be a conditions. It would just be a conditions adjustment. Whatever the condition.
How about set two then?
I mean, why not just play something on the match if you want to play Spizzirri? Why not just play like either plus 5.5 games or
Well, you get
maybe
a
the
better
over?
price. Like Mickelson, he's also known for like playing decent tennis, but not being able to maintain that level.
Yeah.
Like he struggles like
What's the over
closing
three and a
out.
half sets? Is this a good over 3.5 sets parlay piece?
Yeah, minus 155. I think so. It'll be
Yeah.
a parlay piece for me. Yeah. I think I'm gonna do the Spizziri set two money line. I think
All
that's
right. That's a cool idea.
yeah. Let me see Mickelson. Mickelson lost the second set against Eubanks. In Cincinnati, he lost the second set to Griekspoor after winning the first set 6-1. He lost the second set to Bergs in qualifying. In Canada, he lost the second set to Nishikori after winning the first. In Washington, he lost the second to. He actually won the second against Kaboli.
You know, the more I look at this, the more I kind of like Spizziri.
Like we talk about how smart Mickelson is, but like I think Spizziri is a pretty smart tennis player himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm gonna have some fun. I'm gonna play this unconventional Spizziri set two money line play. Next match, Fonini and Mahak. Fonini is a 6.5 game dog plus 350 on the money line. Mahak is minus 450 over under 34. Um, kind of like Fonini in some capacity, man. I mean Fonini has barely played, I think, on hard, but like how many reps does Fonini really need?
Um, if you look
Yeah,
at his
like,
hard court record, though, look at Fognini's hard court record recently in the past like 2 years.
hmm, I mean, what is it?
It's bad. It's I'm pulling it up right now. I don't remember the numbers offhand, but it was not pretty. He also hasn't played since in a month. Um, but last 2 years on hard, he's 9-16. Um, and against players inside the top 100, he is 3-8. The 3 wins were all in Mets last year when we made the semis. Um, but
Yeah,
otherwise, I mean, he's been this year. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It
he lost. I mean, yeah, he played.
and I mean, he's
I mean,
played literally
well,
he's played 2 matches on hard all year.
yeah,
Indian Wells, he lost 5-3 to Baez. Phoenix Challenge, he lost 1-1 to Vukic.
yeah. I was more looking at Mahak, and he's been pretty bad on hard too. Like he's lost his last three matches. He lost to Poppy pretty easily in Canada and lost to Purcell pretty easily in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you're definitely telling, forcing me to lean like stay away here. You're probably staying away, right?
It's a stay away from me, yeah. I think if you're gonna play this,
Yeah.
I think Fognini set one money line could be a look.
Okay, what price was it?
210.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's probably accurately priced, honestly. But I don't know. I haven't been that impressed with Mahawk recently.
Neither have I. But I just like when I first looked at the line, I was all over Fognini. And then I took a second look at Fognini's hard court. You know, the fact that first of all, the fact that he doesn't play on hard court. And then what's happened when he has tried to play on hard court, and I decided to, stay
Yeah,
away.
I hear you. It's the same way. You pointed it out, and I'm like, never mind.
Yeah.
All right, next match. Nuno Borges against Federico Coria. Borges is a 7.5 game favorite, minus 850 on the money line. Coria is plus 550, over under 32. Like, I want to back Borges, but like this is not the type of opponent that I have like great confidence in that can like beat Coria, because Coria is going to be underpowered against pretty much anyone on a hard court, but like Borges is going to be underpowered against a lot of guys on a hard court too. So I don't necessarily want to lay 7.5 with him. I still lean on being on the Borges side here versus the Coria side, but like I'm gonna stay away. I think this is pretty accurate.
Yeah, I mean the other issue I've got here, and this is something with these particular lines in general, is like, okay, which line do you want to take? Especially in this kind of matchup, right? Like if you want to bet it, which kind of line would you want to take? Like you're really kind of stuck. Like it's basically a 2.5 set spread line. Like that's basically to play is like the 3-0 or the.
I don't necessarily trust Borges to win 3-0.
And that's the problem, right? Like
Right, which makes it a stay away.
exactly. Yeah, I'm a stay away here. And Coria will come out and try.
Right. And like there are going to be rallies in this match. Like it's
Yeah,
like it's not like Fritz and Baez, right?
yeah,
This
yeah.
is like Borges is way better, right? And he's gonna win the match, but I don't know if it's gonna be like smooth sailing.
I agree.
So and it's hard to tell that. Burton and Halis, two kind of first strike kind of players, very volatile, erratic. Um, Halis is a 1 game favorite, minus 140 in the money line, over under 40.5. I kind of like Halis on the money line at minus 140. I think he's like a better version of Burton.
That's where I was leaning, but minus 140, I don't like the price. But if this was a minus 120, I'd be on it. But not at minus 140.
Would you have interest in laying the 1 game?
Not at minus 110, not with the minus 110 hanging on it, like
Yeah.
I think like I get by with a lean for Halis. I would lean Halis here, but I'm
Hmm.
not playing it. Like I was hoping this was gonna be a pure pick. And I wanted to play Halis as a pure pick. That was when I first saw the matchup, that's what I was thinking, but Halis is a slight favorite, so I'm gonna be off it.
I'm probably gonna lay the 1 game. I think Halis is just a better version of Burton. And I
I
like
just don't think there's that much of a gap.
Okay. I think it's more of a gap than you probably.
Yeah, I understand.
Oh, this is a comical line. Forbes against Safulin, 10.5. Oh man. Uh I haven't seen Matthew Forbes play really. I mean, I know he won Kalamazoo, and I think it was like an upset win. Like I don't think he was like um predicted to win that.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. He doesn't even get it's not like he gets a direct entry into the qualifying draw. He gets a direct entry into the main draw.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
wild. But like I don't think he's quite as good as Lerner Tien, who I think got it last year, I believe.
Yep.
Um I'm off of it just because I haven't seen Forbes play.
Yeah, I did do some video research for this match. I did watch a couple of Forbes matches, not full matches, but a couple of, and I watched like a couple of like a couple of games from a couple of matches. What I did actually, I kind of prefer doing that than watching like a highlight reel. But I was
Uh-huh.
able to find like a couple of games from a couple of matches. I don't know, I feel like he's a pretty like decently like I don't know. He's kind of like a high school, like a lot of high school kids are, like decent, solid ground strokes, but seems to kind of struggle with like touch at the net, etc. But I don't know how much that's going to matter against Saflin. Like I think like Saflin's not going to like do anything tricky. Um,
I mean, Safulin is an erratic guy. Like he can produce errors in bunches.
yeah, I mean, so
A half is a lot for like any match. I mean, like I rarely see spreads this high.
yeah, so I've got two plays here actually.
Wow.
I've
Okay.
got set one over 8.5 at minus 105.
Okay.
Um, like you've got to think like Forbes is going to be pumped up. You know what I mean? And like like this is an exciting.
A lot of
It's
nerve.
talking out of court, but it still is like the opportunity of a life or of his lifetime so far.
Okay.
And it could end up being the opportunity of a lifetime. Like there's no guarantee he makes it on the pro tour. Um, so
I
I
mean,
think
it's probably more probable than not that he doesn't make the pro tour.
yeah, I mean it's a long way to go, right? Like he's 118.
Right.
Um, so I think so that's my first play. And my
Okay.
second play is over 3.5 sets is plus 425.
Wow. Wow. So you're basically just banking on like Spromon to like just spray a gazillion balls.
For a set, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Forbes is like Forbes doesn't have that. Like Forbes is way underpowered in this matchup, right? And like Roman's the better player. There's no doubt about that.
But
Like,
is Forbes like a good mover who can like get some balls back and like you
yeah,
know?
he's decent. Yeah, he's a. I would say he's a good mover.
Okay.
I mean, he's not that good, right? Like he's not ATP level by any means. Like he's not good, but
Hmm.
425 for Saflin to spray balls for one of three sets.
Yeah, that does seem appetizing. Yeah. I mean, it might be worth like half a unit. I mean, maybe, you know.
Yeah.
I prefer the 8.5, honestly, but I see where
It's
you're.
not 8.5, it's 10.5.
No, I prefer the 8.5 in the first set. Over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably my favorite play, but I also like taking a little spray on the plus 425 to win a set.
Okay. I mean, Roman, like, he has won the carry challenger, right? Like, so he's had some decent, good, good results.
It's just his style, right? Like Roman's gonna be aggressive, so like
If he's playing well, he's gonna do well. If he's not, then, or if he's missing, he's gonna do bad.
yeah, like you've got three shots at it, and you need him to win a set 1 out of 5 times. Like I don't know, man. Like
Yeah. All right,
And
let's.
it doesn't work this way, but if you think like, but just like in terms of it's an interesting math exercise. Like, in order for that math to make sense for for Saflin 3-0 to be like more than 80% chance, he has to be more than 93% chance to win any set.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you're getting like 13-1 or whatever that is on all three sets for Forbes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like again with with Saflin's play style, like I don't think it's gonna come through, but it's like but I think there's a chance.
Yeah, I'm gonna be off of it just because, like, for me, it's very hard to back or put money on someone like I haven't seen play a full match.
I understand.
So I'm probably
And
just
Forbes is not good, by the way. Like Forbes is like
yeah,
he doesn't
yeah,
have very much to offer, but
yeah. All right, next match is let's go to two, actually, legitimate ATP players. Zhang and Draper, which I think you said is one of the first round matches of the tournament.
I think so.
Yeah.
Um,
Are you backing Zhang here at plus 275?
what is the Zhang 3-2?
Interesting. Plus 800.
That's where I'm thinking of going. Like,
Fading the Draper physicality.
yeah, like I mean, do we like I guess the question is like to me, Zhang 3-0 just isn't happening unless Draper somehow is hurt.
Not happening. I agree.
Like Draper's too good. He'll win a set, but Zhang is a volatile player. Like if he can find a couple of sets,
Yep.
like I don't know, if it gets the fourth and fifth set, like that's where I like Zhang better.
I agree. I mean, I don't like Draper physically in those spots. It's a day match,
Yeah, it's a 1 p.m.
1 p.m. It's supposed to be pretty hot.
Yeah. And I've talked about this before, like just doing the math, right? Like so the math here is saying that if it gets to a third set, the math here is saying that like Draper is 60, he's 9 out of 14, so 65% to win in a fifth set against Zhang. But yet the market is saying that he's if the first set money line is minus 230 plus 175, so they're saying Draper's 2/3, like 67% to win just like the first set. I don't know, man. I think that the physicality means more than 2% to Zhang.
And if Zhang gets to a fifth set, that means he's playing pretty decent tennis,
Yeah.
right? And he's found some pattern of play that works against Draper. So
Yeah.
I tend to agree with you. I think the 3-2 is probably is better than like the money line because like money line, what you get plus 275.
Yeah. It's more that for me, like I just don't think that like I mean
I mean, Zhang hasn't been that good. Like I think
I mean,
that's
regardless, even if he had been like beating Draper 3-0, that like
Draper is consistently overvalued, like consistently.
maybe a little bit, but I mean he's a pretty good tennis player. He just has the physicality issue.
Yeah. And Zhang doesn't, right? Like Zhang is pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Just plays a very volatile brand of tennis, so it's like I don't think that physicality really impacts his matches that much, right?
Not as much, but if Draper has to stand out in the heat for 4 hours or 3.5 hours, right? Like
Yeah, the only thing is I don't know if Zhang can like impose that physicality edge because he's
I,
just
I
gonna look
also
like
think like he's gotten a little
balls.
like I'm not saying he's. I mean, I like Zhang. I think he's a better player than. I feel like I'm always betting on Zhang. But I don't know. I think
I like
he.
Zhang given the price. I don't necessarily believe he's gonna win. I just think like 8-1 on a 3-2 is good.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna sprinkle on it.
Okay. All right. I think it's a good idea. All right.
Are you on anything there? Or are you just a pass?
I think I'm gonna play the. I think I'm gonna sprinkle on the 3-2 as well. It's a fun. It's a fun bet.
Yeah.
If the money line goes to 3-1, I think that's actually a decent play too.
I agree. I
So,
agree.
Sinner and Mackey. Sinner's a 9-game favorite. Um, Mackey's 6 plus 16-1 to win, over 28.5. Um, I'm curious to see who's going to serve first in this match because, like, if Mackey serves first in this match, I kind of lean the over 9.5. It's not available on Bovada, but I'm sure I could
Yeah,
find
other books do have it. Yeah.
it. The center over 18.5 actually looks kind of appetizing. That's probably where I would lean, like the over 18.5 or the set one over 9.5 kind of thing. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, Mackey's done like so a few things about this. Like, so I think first of all, there are question marks on Sinner here.
There are. I
Is
agree.
he gonna lose this match? No, he's not gonna lose this match. Um, there are question marks. And so that's the first thing. There's the hip, there's the whole, drug issue. Like, um, second thing is Mackey's been like, and a lot of it comes with asterisks, but he's been like oddly okay in his career against top players. Like last year, he beat Fritz on grass. He beat Rublev in Montreal. He beat Felix in the U.S. Open.
Mhm.
Um, he actually almost beat Sinner last year in Paris, if you remember. He was up well, I think we both played the Mackie 2-0 on that, like some insane price.
In
Um,
Paris indoors, you mean?
yeah. And Mackie won the first set and got to 5-all in the second. I remember it because you and I know I played it. I played the 2-0 Mackie at some absurd
Mm.
price. It was like it might have been like 40-1 or something. Like it was something insane.
Wasn't that like a stupid late match and then Sinner had to withdraw in the next round or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
like there's been weird asterisks with this stuff, but I'm saying like there's a history of Mackie being like competitive against
Top.
good players.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
last 2 years, last 2 years, Mackie 15 matches, right, against top 20 players in the last 2 years. Mackey's 6-9, and he's won a set. He's won at least one set
Hmm.
10 times.
Interesting.
Like, again, like a lot of weird stuff there, right? Like, like a lot of weird asterisk type matches. Like, he beat Rune, but Rune was not, not had no body. Sinner, it was a weirdly late, strange match, and then Sinner had to withdraw the next day. FA wasn't playing well. He beat Nadal in straights in the Aussie, but Nadal couldn't move. But then again, like Nadal couldn't. Like I think there's something to be said for that because, like, Nadal couldn't move for a lot of matches and he still won. So, like, I don't know.
I agree with that.
Like,
Yeah, I think Mackey's like flat ball. I think like it rushes guys.
yeah,
And
yeah,
like,
it's just different.
yeah.
So, so in summary, I'm torn between the over 18 and a half and the over 28 and a half, but I'm going to play one of those over. So I think they're both good looks.
What about the set one? Like I also feel like that flat ball and like
I think the set one's a good look too. I think all three are good looks.
okay.
It's just that
I'm
set
leaning
one
the
depends
set
on who goes first. You know what I mean? I don't know. I know Sinner mixes it up, right? I don't know what might
center
be what.
serves first more often than not. So yeah, I mean, yeah. I'll check with Piranha on that.
Yeah.
I
But
kind of prefer the over 18 and a half just because like you just basically need one set to be competitive.
yeah. Yeah.
Like I just don't know how long Mackey can maintain, the level against that level of ball striking.
Yeah. I hear you.
You know what I
I
mean?
hear you.
Because like I can see like a 7-5, 6-1, 6-3 kind of score line and then or 6-2 score line, and then you don't get the 28 and a half,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So I would lean the 18, but it's juiced. So I might just stay off of it.
Yeah. I'm going to be on one of those overs.
Okay.
It's probably Sinner over 18 and a half.
Okay. All
It's
right.
scary because Mackey's so overpowered, but or he's underpowered. He will be overpowered, but I yeah.
All right. Alex Demonor against Marcos Giron. Demonor is a 5.5 game favorite, minus 400 on the money line, plus 300 for Giron. Over under is 36 and a half. I kind of like the Demonor minus 5.5 here. I understand there's a serious question mark with how well is Demonor going to respond from injury, but like Giron has been so bad, and I don't think Giron has the mental capacity to deal with someone who's going to get as many balls back as Demonor. And if Demonor is healthy, which I think the chances are high that he is, or higher than not. Like I
I
think it's
think I heard he won the UTS event. I think.
no, I think Monfils won the UTS event, but
Oh,
like
did he? Okay.
I don't know. I think the fact that he's playing like Demonor is a professional guy. Like he's not going to cheat the game. Like if he wasn't healthy, he wouldn't show up here. You know?
Oh yeah, you're right. Well, Monfils did win, but he did. But I guess but he played it
Yeah.
like do you mean like I think there's
Yeah. If you're not healthy, you're not playing exos before a slam, right?
yeah.
So because if both guys were fully fit and or if Demonor was fully fit and this match like happened 3 months ago, like what's the spread? It's probably like 6.5, 7.5.
Right. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so.
And then Giron has also been really bad since the Newport title. I don't think he's
I
won a match
agree.
since then. So I don't know. I really like Demonor here, minus 5.5. I might actually do the minus 1.5 sets too. Is that it's not a good price. I'm
I'm
probably
not on it.
yeah, I'm gonna
Uh,
lay the 5.5.
what?
I'm gonna lay the 5.5.
Yeah, I'm not on it just because just because of the injury of the concerns around like rustiness
Mm-hmm.
and like your own is at home. Like you'd think he'd show up and want to play well, but I agree it's a terrible matchup for your own. I can completely see why you're playing it. Like in terms of pure tennis, like if this was, I can't even think of like a neutral hardcore, but if this was like, because there is no like neutral. If this was in Doha, right? If this was in Doha, if this is a best of 5 match in Doha, and both guys were healthy, I would probably say it's like 7.5, 8. You know, so we're like all those factors we just talked about. Is that worth a couple games?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I think I'm just scared. Like I just don't like. I think it's a good play though. Like I support the play. I'm just not gonna be on it.
Okay. All right. I think like it's not only the Demon Or part of it, it's also the Giron part of it. The fact that he's been terrible since the Newport title.
Yeah.
Like he lost to Baez.
Like I'm tempted, man. I'm really tempted because I agree. Like it's just a really bad matchup for your own. Like this is a match I normally would love to play this, you know, because it's
Yeah.
one of those things like I think what's missing here is the qualitative aspect of like this is a bad matchup for your own.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a better version of him.
Have these guys played?
Don't think so. Oh, I
Wow.
have. We got 3-1 year, but yeah, but it's all old stuff, and most of
Yeah,
it's
it's old. It's
hard.
old. That's still surprising to me though. But
It's surprising me too.
it's 3 years ago, so I'm not gonna weigh too much. Yeah. All right. Dutse Lajovic, Dusan Lajovic against Daniil Medvedev. Lajovic is an 8.5 game dog plus 1100 on the money line, over under of 29.5. Is this a match where Medvedev is just bored and he allows Lajovic to squeak a set?
Live just lost to Brandon Holt.
Yeah, I know.
Like he's not. I don't think like. I think when he's not on quick hard courts, it's a problem. Or sorry,
Slow,
when he's on
slow.
any kind of medium or quickish court, it's a problem.
I mean,
Uh,
Lajovic did do pretty well in Cincinnati last year. I think he beat Sinner there.
Sinner was gassed. I remember that because you and I bet it. We actually, I think, both had the Dutzy money line in
I
that
think you
match.
did. I didn't.
Okay. Yeah, I talked that up. Yeah, he did. He did. But I
Who else
think
did
that's
he beat?
basically
Who else did
what?
he beat?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it. Oh, he in that tournament he beat Cerundolo, Kubler, and Rinky, which are at least legitimate players.
Yeah.
Like not good, but they're legitimate. Um,
I actually think the fact that this is the over 3.5 sets is only plus 160 here shows that like the book doesn't really believe in Medvedev.
yeah,
Like I feel like if Medvedev had a decent like summer and like was playing normal, like his normal level, that would probably be like more in the range of like plus 225.
I tend to agree. I
So I'm off of it just because of like I think there's a chance that Medvedev just gets bored like halfway in and like, starts yelling at the chair ump and the crowd and like I think that that's a possibility here, but like the price is just not good enough.
yeah. You won't like this play,
Okay.
But I'm actually on Medvedev here. I'm on Medvedev under 19 games at minus 135.
No, I don't really like that.
Like I just don't. I mean, I don't. I just don't. I think it's also a bad matchup for Lajovic on
It
like a
is
medium
because
quick court.
yeah, he's not very patient, right? Like I don't think he has the rally tolerance. He's not the fittest guy. Like it is a bad matchup for him.
And the 19. I mean, like I even if Medvedev like screws around and like a set gets to 12 games for some reason, you're still safe.
I hear you.
Um,
I'm off this
yeah,
match. I'm off this
I
match.
understand it. It's not my favorite play. Have we had a true disagreement yet?
Not really.
I don't think so. It's kind of disappointing.
Yeah. All right. Arthur Feast and Learned Tien. Uh Feast is a 5 game favorite. Tien is +5. Over under 37. Lerner is +240 on the money line. What have I learned from watching Tien? No pun intended. Um, I want a back learner here. I think that this is a good matchup for him and a bad one for Feast. Like Lerner is going to get balls back. He's just gonna, he's a good competitor, and I think Feast. I think hardcourt is actually quite bad for him. Like I almost think like he's a pure clay quarter.
I don't know that I agree with that. Like he's done. I don't know that I agree with that. Like he made the fourth round of Wimbledon this year. Um,
True, that's true.
he did win 2 matches in Indian Wells. He he made a final in Antwerp last year on indoor hard. Like
Mm.
I don't know. I think he's
Lost to Humbert 2-2 in Canada, and then lost to Nakashima, um, 5-6.
yeah. It hasn't been pretty since Hamburg. You know.
What's the over 3.5 sets here? -170. That seems like a good parlay piece. I'm probably gonna take the 5 games with Lerner or play the over or something like that. Or maybe the Arthur Feast over 20.5 seems actually pretty good. Like I don't think Feast wins this in straight sets. I think he's too volatile. Like I think he's gonna play a set where he just sprays in bunches.
Yeah, I mean Holt almost took a set, right? Holt had 4-3
Exactly.
love.
Exactly.
Like
Don't remind me, please. Oh, that was just ridiculous.
did you have the over or the spread?
I had +5.5 in like a 40-1 parlay, and that was the last leg.
Yeah.
It's like, and I
Yeah.
had the whole set one money line, I think.
Yeah, I had the Holt set one money line. So I was like, oh, this is looking pretty good. Like it's 4-3 40 love. Like all things are
That
going the
was a
right
single bet,
direction.
but the +5.5 was in that parlay. Like it
Yeah.
was an alternate spread.
Yeah.
I think it was actually like 3.5 or 4. I bumped it to 5.5. Like this is just painful. Painful. Um, but you know what? I actually like this. This is my favorite play here. The Feast over 20.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I'm gonna play.
I get that. Like, I get that. Um,
Because I'm not gonna deny that the athleticism gap is massive here. I just don't
yeah,
have space to stay disciplined for three straight sets against a guy who's gonna compete, get a lot of balls back.
yep, yep.
So
I hear you. I'm probably not on it, but it's close. It's tempting. What is it at right now? It's at 5,
yeah, yeah, it's a
and it's
thought.
an unjuiced 5. Yeah.
But I actually prefer the over 20 because I can see, like TN just kind of getting exhausted with dealing with that ball quality
Yeah,
late, like in the, fourth set.
yeah,
I don't think he's that accustomed to playing best of five either. So like that's another thing. But I think set one money line is also a decent look here. What price do you get on that? It's not quite good enough.
yeah.
It's 160.
I might take the learner -5. That could be playable.
Okay.
Or the learner plus the games.
All right.
Or the over 3.5 sets or something like
Corentin
that.
Moutet against Sebi Korda. Are you gonna play the patented Corentin Moutet set one money line?
Nope. Nope.
No, nope. Are you playing anything here?
Quarter's pretty en fuego right now. Um, I'm backing him. I want plus money on this, so I'm backing him minus an alternate spread of 7 games.
Okay, interesting. Interesting.
I just think that Mute is so likely to go away mentally in at least one set.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what is the any set to nil here?
Plus 750. That's actually a good look.
It's kind of appetizing just because Mute. I mean, like he's I mean he could just decide to give up a set for no reason. Like
This is it's a live betting opportunity. Like if you see him really like, start tanking or something, I think like I bet quarter to win love or one or something like that. It's a fun play.
yeah, I hear you. So my two plays here are maybe three plays are that the -7 and the other thing I kind of like here is the minus like it's heavily juiced and it's probably more of a parlay piece, but quarter minus a set and a half at -185 seems pretty good to me. Like he really shouldn't. I
Mute,
could see him losing a set pretty easily here, but he really should not drop 2 sets to Mute.
the thing with Mute is like he's actually not bad in slams. Like I feel like he plays better in slams than he does in other tournaments. He has made like fourth round here before.
I know, I know.
Best of five. I mean, doesn't really phase him.
It's just like you know what it is. It's hard to know which Mute's going to show up.
But
But honestly, like,
it's also hard to know which quarter is going to show up.
well, that's why I want something plus money, and that's why I don't hate laying the games as much here. Because I think like the distribution of outcomes is a lot wider here. Not a lot, but it's wider here than a lot of other matches.
I agree with that. Mute has been pretty good in slams though. Like I'm
I
looking.
know, I know.
Yeah, I don't know. I would like to do like a LWWW kind of bet here. Like that's where I would go. I think I'm gonna look more to play this one live
Yeah,
because
I
like
think that's probably the right
it's hard
thing.
to play anything here because you don't know what Mute is going to show up, and you also don't know what court is going to show up. So it's a fascinating match, but I just don't have a read on it.
Yeah, you know, the more I look at it, I'm off it. You convinced me.
Okay.
You convinced me. It's too.
It's one thing if you don't know what you're going to get from one player, but when you don't know what you're going to get from both players, then it's like, oh my God.
And Mute actually might show up. You're right. The slam thing might count for something.
Yeah. You made fourth round here, made fourth round of French Open this year. Like, I don't know.
Well, if it was on clay, I feel very differently. I just
True.
don't know like how well that like Mutet's game style works on, especially the game style he's adopted now, which is just complete junk. Like, I don't know how well that works on hard court.
Yeah. All right, next match, Shapovalov and Bodik van de Zandschulp. Shapo is a 5.5 game favorite, minus 325 on the money line. Over under 37. VDZ is plus 260. I'm completely off this. Like,
Yeah, it's a pure pass to me. I don't even have much else to say about it. Like, it's just, there's so much volatility here. Like,
right.
I mean, honestly, an easy, interesting way to play it would be like if a book had like a like. I mean, the interesting way to play this would be the under, to be honest, because like
I was thinking that too, yeah.
you know, because one of these guys, either of these guys, who just played terrible, and like a 6-2 set is super in the cards with these two guys. Like,
I would want to play the over on unforced errors.
yeah, well, but the line would be high. That's the problem.
Yeah. Or if they had like a prop bet, either player to have over 100 unforced errors.
Well, that would be a great price, but 100 unforced errors is so many, man.
I mean, Djokovic had it once against Gilles Simon.
Yeah, yeah, and he
All
won the
right.
match.
Yeah. Next match is Diaz Acosta against Gaston. Acosta is a 3-game dog plus 140 in the money line. Gaston is minus 170, over under 37.5. This is another match where it's like I don't know what I'm gonna get from Gaston. So I'm off of this too.
I don't know, man. Like, my take on this is a little bit. I'm on Acosta. I don't like on a hard court. Both these guys are on an outdoor hard court. Both of these guys are bad. And I don't see like how one of these guys is 3 games worse than the other.
Let me see. Has Acosta won a match on hard this year? I don't necessarily agree with that. I mean, I've seen Gaston play pretty decently. Like I think in Metz he played pretty well.
That's a French indoor hard court. He's better when he has the French crowd behind him.
All right.
Diaz Acosta won 2 qualifying matches on hard in Adelaide this year. I mean, he's not a good like this match. This is another like should not be in the event type of match. You know, like I'd rather watch a lot of American. Like I'd rather watch 2 of the guys that lost in the qualies in round 3. To be honest,
I agree. He
like
lost to Galarno 4-4 in Canada. Lost to Reto Alba 6-3.
and Gaston lost to Eubanks 1-4, Munar 6-2. You know, like I don't like Acosta, but like I'm not sure that Gaston's any better.
Gaston just I mean he beat him in 3 in Hamburg. I mean these are both clay and Kitchbull. But they played recently twice.
if it's not, I'm not sure I care if it's not on a hard court, you know? Especially given that, like, Gaston's game is so based on clay. Like, clay is so clearly so much better for Gaston's game. I guess talking the other way, like, Gaston did qualify for the US Open last year and actually did win a first round match. It was against Show, but he did win a match.
I mean, the one thing you have going for like Diaz Acosta is like more impressive than his wins was the when he took Fritz to 5 sets
Yeah.
in Australia.
Yeah.
Like that's the most impressive thing he's ever done on hard court.
Yeah.
I'm off of this. I can't. I can't.
I think I'm gonna just close my eyes and play the Acosta money line. Like, I don't. I mean, I guess I think Gaston. After thinking about it, Gaston probably is a better hardcore than Diaz Acosta, but is he really like significantly better on an outdoor hardcourt? I don't know, and I have a hard time counting anything that Gaston's won on a French indoor hardcourt because I do think he's an emotional guy, and I do think when he's got a crowd behind him, he plays better.
Okay. All
The
right.
other thing to do is take Acosta plus the 3 games. I think Acosta is more mentally stable than Gaston. So the handicap could be good here
Yeah,
too.
but I go the other way. I actually think Gaston is more physically stable than Acosta. I agree
Really?
with you in the mental. Diaz Acosta seems to get hurt a lot.
He seems to get hurt, but does he have issues with physicality?
Mm. I mean, I also don't like that Gaston. I mean, I understand that they were both on clay, but I don't like the fact that he's beaten him twice recently.
Um,
And I think I backed Diaz Acosta in Kitchpool.
I mean, look, that was 7-6, 1-6, 6-4. It certainly wasn't a blowout. Diaz Acosta won more games. Like,
Yeah, I'm off of it. I'm off of it.
so no, sorry, Kitzbühel was a beatdown, but Diaz Acosta retired. I mean, who knows what his status was coming into that match? Oh, no, the guess that was after he played that 3.5 hour insane match with Pedro.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like, he was just too gassed out. That match was.
Out. Okay.
And then you have the match in Hamburg where Diaz Acosta actually won more games. It was 7-6, 1-6, 6-4.
All right.
Like, I think Diaz Acosta is the play here, either money line or handicap. I'll probably keep the money line, but again, I just don't see a huge difference between these guys. Like, I see a difference in terms of play style, but I don't think in terms of like skill level.
Okay. All right. Arnaldi and Svajda. Arnaldi's a 5.5 game favorite, minus 275 on the money line. Svajda's plus 220 over under 36. I'm a little disappointed. I was hoping Arnaldi would be like more of a favorite because then I would back Svajda, but like I think this is accurate.
Yeah, it's pretty close. Also, I'm not on this. This is a
Yeah.
pass for me.
I like Svajda is a guy that's going to make balls and like he's going to force Arnaldi to come up with the goods. So I think it's actually a good matchup for Svajda. It's just like the athleticism gap. the ball quality gap is just so much in
There's
the
a gap.
favor,
There's a
right?
gap here.
So, all right, Purcell and Vukic. I know you're higher on Purcell than I am. This seems about right too. I would actually. I think the over should be like 40 and a half. I think 39 is a little bit on the low side. But I'm not going to be playing this.
Yeah, it's an eyesore of a match. That said, I'm gonna pull something up for you for real quick.
Mm-hmm. These guys must have played.
You know, I don't think they played much. They may have never played actually. All right, so
Vukic is 4-1
Vukic is 4-1.
at the head, yeah. Two of them were retirements.
All right.
They played in
Yeah,
Denver.
and then the other ones were all older.
Yeah.
Two retirements, a match in 21, a match in 22, and then he did win in Den Bosch this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not too concerned about it. Like the other two matches were super tight. Like, I don't know. So since over the past month, right?
Mm-hmm.
Purcell 7 matches, he's 3-4. Service points 1, return points 1 of 100, hold break of 99. Vukic over that same time span, 3-5. Service points 1, return points 1 of 100, hold break of 96. These guys have such variable like levels of play that
Yeah.
I really with these guys only look at current form because I feel like both these guys are like so up and down. Like there was a time earlier this year where like I don't think you could count on Vukic to be anybody in the top 200.
Right. And then he
Um,
put Djokovic to 3 sets in Indian Wells, and then that opinion changed.
But then he had that match against like Pacheco Mendez. Was it Acapulco? Yeah, it was. Oh, that was before Acapulco, right? He had that match against I remember like they had a match. He had a match against like Pacheco Mendez. They won like 7-6, 7-6.
Yeah.
And Pacheco Mendez like outside the top 500, and like he was so relieved to have won. And he was like, "Yeah, I've been in a really dark place. Like it's really hard to get wins right now. Like I just I don't have like I don't believe in myself. Like
Yeah.
so my point, and like Purcell's the same way. Like there's times that Purcell can't play top 100 tennis, and there's times he can. So based on the past month, I think they're pretty even. So I've gone Purcell money line in the over.
I don't know. I like what I saw from Vukic against PCB in Winston-Salem. I think he has more options, like from a rally perspective.
But Purcell's so much better. Purcell's a better player than that. They're different styles, right? They're definitely different styles. Like Vukic is a more like standard player, better serve, better forehand. Purcell has no forehand sometimes, literally. Like sometimes he's slicing more forehands than not. Um, but he does find a way to win matches. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean Vukic did go 3 with Manarino and Evans, which is not great.
I mean, it's too bad I can't find if a book has a 5-set line on this,
Yeah,
I think that'd be a good look too. Like to me, this just feels like an overmatch. Like,
but their previous meetings have not gone over.
well, wait. 2 retirements. No, 2 of the 3 matches that actually completed did go over.
Let me look at it again.
One was 3 sets and one was 2 tiebreaks.
Oh, challengers. Okay.
Yeah. The ATP level tour match was 3 and 6 this year, but even that, like, doesn't mean it couldn't have gone over. You know what I mean? You're a tiebreak away. Like,
I prefer the 5 sets over 39.5, honestly. At a better
yeah,
price. Like if you got
I
like
agree with that.
on that, like yeah.
But
Like if 5 sets probably be like plus 230 or 240, like I think that's
yeah, I agree with that.
yeah. If I can find that, that's where I'm going, but I'm staying away for otherwise.
Or you could take Purcell plus a set and a half. I think I don't know. I like but I like Purcell there. I mean I don't think he's necessarily like I don't even know that he's more than 50% likely to win the match, but I
Mhm.
don't see how this is 60-40 for Vukic.
Okay.
Like I just think these guys are pretty like similarly mediocre hardcourters. Like
Okay. All right, next match is O'Connell against Yari. O'Connell is a 4-game dog plus 195 on the money line. Yari's minus 240, over under 38.5. O'Connell, I mean, both of these guys have really struggled recently. O'Connell lost to Rinderneck 3 and 4. He lost to Rinderneck in a walkover in Canada, and then he beat Yoshi. In Washington, he lost to Nakashima 2 and 2. In Atlanta, he lost to Purcell in 3. Has Yari won a match since Rome?
I don't think so.
Mute at the French.
He has not. He is not.
Yeah, lost to Etch in Canada and then lost to Musetti. But he's getting closer. I mean, 4-6, 7-6, 7-6 against Musetti is not terrible, but you're getting minus 240 on him. So I'm off this.
I like O'Connell here. I think you can go money line. I think you go games. Um, yeah. Like,
What's O'Connell's serve points one? Because like MP9, they talked about it. Like he's really struggling to hold serve.
so since in his past 7 matches, so in this summer hardcourt swing,
Mm-hmm.
I mean it's not that bad. 65.5% service points won. That's not terrible. That's pretty average. And he's holding 80% of the time. I don't think it's been that bad.
Okay.
This is another match, man. It's similar to a lot of these other matches where like we've had 4 or 5 matches in the past like 20 minutes we've gone through or 30 minutes that we've gone through
Yeah.
where I feel like there's a spread and there's a money line of like plus 150 to plus 200
Yeah.
on a guy that's got like pretty on a match that's pretty close to 50-50. And I kind of feel that way about this match too. Like I understand why Yari's a favorite. I think he should be favored, but I think 2-1 on O'Connell's pretty good. Or the games, or the O'Connell, plus a set and a half. I think they're all decent looks.
There's one thing I want to look at. Give me 1 second here. This phone is being slow. So O'Connell is 10-24 against guys that are over 6'4".
I was thinking that I was looking at the same thing. I was thinking the same thing. But
Seems like he just the only guy he's playing is Rinderneck.
I know he's played Rinderneck like 5 times. Played Rinderneck over and over again. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's that bad though, because like a lot of those losses there are like a lot of those like in the last year, those losses are all to like top players.
Yeah, no
You know,
shame in the
okay, he lost
Zverev
one.
Hubie Korda.
What?
No shame in the Zverev Hubie Korda losses
Right.
and the Medvedev loss.
Like this really isn't about like O'Connell. Like O'Connell's been pretty bad too. Like I don't love O'Connell,
Yeah,
but like Yori, what has he done? He hasn't won a match since Rome.
I know. Yeah, I mean you make a good point.
And those aren't world beaters. Like Mutet's a winnable match. Chapo on grass, you can win a set there.
Yeah, win a set.
Like are you, or even better, like you can be competitive against Chapo. That's a reasonable ask. Popperin
It's a
on clay, what?
I just love the way you put it. It's a reasonable ask for you to be
Yeah, it
competitive
is.
in a
Like
particular
another
point.
reasonable ask. Etch on a hard court, reasonable ask. Musetti on hard, reasonable ask. Like these aren't like it's not like he's lost. It's not like he's lost his last 6 to like Zverev, Hurkacz, Korda, you know, Djokovic and Alcaraz or something. You know,
Right.
like these are all like very beatable players.
But the thing is, he's getting better. Like the 4-6, 7-6, 7-6 to Mazzetti.
Okay, that's the one match that you can argue that. I watched the Echiari match. It was
It
terrible.
was bad. Yeah, I saw some of that. That wasn't great.
Like,
Yeah. What about like the set one overs kind of thing here? The set one over 12.5 seems decent at plus 240.
yeah. I mean, look, anytime you're backing the dog, right? Like I like the dog. I think it's a closer match than what than what the market believes.
Mm-hmm.
So, like by virtue of that, right, I'm gonna be buying into overs as well, more likely.
How about the over 38.5? That seems pretty low. I think it should be like more like 40.
I mean, the problem is O'Connell's on one side of this, right? Like,
What's Yari's break percentage in this last in those last 6 matches?
I mean, I'm sure it's not good. It is 6%. He's won 24% of return points.
Really bad. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna tail you. I'd much rather be on this the O'Connell side than the Yari side. At 2-1, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll play it. All right, Marjan and Medenovic. I like the under. Marjan is one of my favorite under guys.
Yeah, I know.
And I think both of these guys are volatile. I don't trust Hamad physically either. So
I hear you on all that. The problem for me is that Hamad is too volatile within the same match, which makes him not as good in my mind for unders, you know? Like,
Yeah, probably because like 5 sets is in play. Like I could see lopsided sets like a 6-1, 6-2, but then if you go 5, you're still going over 38. So I hear
yeah.
you. I hear you. Ahmad has gone. Did he go 3 sets in every qualifying match? Yes, he did. He went 3 sets in 2 out of the or against Galan and well, both matches against Galan and Kitchbull. Yeah, you know what? I'm off the over just because of like how much Hamad goes over. So it's a weird dynamic because like I feel like Hamad goes over more and Marjan goes under more.
Yeah, I think it's just because like Marjan, it's how does he show up on that day?
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? Because he's so aggressive, but he's so, he also seems to have abandoned the drop shot Marjan,
I know. Which
which is like really disappointing because it was a really good tactic for him, I thought.
was. I mean, he was so good at executing it too.
Yeah, I don't know why he's abandoned it.
It's like weird.
Um,
Yeah.
but I think it's actually part of the reason for his struggles
I tend to agree.
because now he's become just like another ball basher.
The problem is that Hamad is a ball basher too. Like, I don't trust Hamad to implement like good enough tactics to come
Yeah,
through.
I don't trust either of these guys. I'm not on it at all, is my take.
All right, Kaboli and Duckworth. This is one of my favorite plays of the day. You're going to be surprised by this pick, but I am playing Duckworth plus the 4.5.
I'm playing the Duckworth money line at plus 250.
I'm probably going to play that too. I'm going to do both. But I think it's live.
My reason for the money line over the games is that because Kaboli's a little more like erratic day to day. I feel like I feel like I want the extra plus money on Duckworth potentially winning the match.
Okay. I think Kaboli is starting to get the respect from the market now, and I think like I'd rather back him as a dog. And yes, he's been good, and like I still like him as a player. Like he's fantastic. But like Duckworth is actually a pretty good player, and like he's has a good serve plus one. Like he's good at finding holes. That's one thing that Duckworth is good at.
Sure. I mean, he's a high level challenger player, but yeah, I mean, this line is look, I'm on him. I
Mhm.
just don't, I don't know. I don't think that Duckworth is that good. I think this is more about Kaboli being a
Overvalued.
little bit all over the place sometimes. Right, like he's got a 6-1 loss to Huey in the third, and with the way Huey's playing right now, that's not really excusable. Not the loss, but the 6-1 in the third. So that specific set's not really
Right.
excusable. And he's got a 3-2 loss to Rinderneck, which is never really excusable. So
What's his hold percentage in recently?
Kaboli,
No, Duckworth.
it's probably pretty decent. Um,
Last 52 weeks, 86.6%.
yeah.
Pretty good. 24, 86.5%. Serve points one, break point, or serve points one, return points one is it's like 103.
104 if you take all matches. If you just filter for guys against guys in the top 100, it goes down to 99, which is not bad.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, like Duckworth is playing okay. Like I'm not like,
Yeah.
I just man, I have a hard time getting excited about Duckworth as a player, but I'll back him here. I
Mhm.
think games is fine too. I actually don't think like the more I think about it, I think 4.5 games is fine. I think the plus 250 is fine. Like I think either's a fine look. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I think the hype on Kaboli is starting to pick up steam, and like I'm willing to fade that as of now. Like I like backing Kaboli as a dog, but
I agree. I
uh,
agree with that take. Yeah. Yeah.
it's not GBM worthy because like Kaboli is the better player, so I'm not gonna go there, but Munar and Diallo. Now this is one of my favorite plays of the day. I'm all over the Munar money line here at minus 115. It's GBM worthy if you want to make it. I think I'm not high on Diallo. I think Munar's like rally tolerance is going to get to Diallo here. Um, I think the hot conditions is also going to favor Munar here. I see a lot of pro Munar reasoning here. Um, and like we've said it before, we said it on our recap pod that Munar is like better on hard court than people give him credit for.
Yeah. Um, oh, that's fine. I think this line is pretty right. To me,
Really?
this is pretty close to a flip. Yeah, I hear you. I think your reasoning is all fine. Um, but I just don't have interest in playing Lunar here at these prices.
Okay. Oh, I'm a little disappointed. I was hoping it was either GBM or a debate coming.
Yeah, no, nope.
Oh, all right. Zizou Bergs and Pavel Kotov. Now this spells 5 sets. I would play a 5 set line here if I could find one.
What is Berg's 3-2?
You're really gonna trust Bergs? Oh, I guess you don't trust Kotov physically either. I don't trust either of these guys physically though. So who do you trust mentally more?
I think Bergs might have cleaned up some of the physical issues. I think some of that stuff is from like 5, 6 months ago.
What evidence do
Like
you have for that?
what?
What evidence do you have for that statement?
Well, he beat Kazona, or he lost. He played. I mean, he made it to a 5th set tiebreak against Kazell at Wimbledon. He didn't win it, but it was a 4.5 hour match.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know. I didn't actually watch it, but he did play a 4.5 hour match there. He hasn't had a retirement since January, so that's always a good sign. Like, well, it is. Um,
Yes, I mean,
he's 13-11 in deciding sets this year.
okay. I mean, that's all well and good. If it gets to a 5, a 5th set, I don't really want to pick a side, but I think
Yeah.
getting there is pretty like likely. If I could get like plus 220 on that, I think it's a good play. I think it's a very evenly matched. Like I think the line is right.
What about playing the over 38.5
Yeah,
games?
that's viable.
Yeah, I mean, I- so I did want to mention on Bergs, man. Bergs this year is converting breakpoints at a 27% rate, which is quite low.
That is pretty low. Okay.
I mean, you can take that two ways, right? You can take that as either like he doesn't have the game he needs to win big points, or you could take it as that's an unsustainable like kind of luck factor. But it is an interesting kind of stat.
I mean, I never thought he was strong mentally.
Yeah,
I always thought he had something to be desired. Like the guy's talented. He's just like when push comes to shove, physically and mentally, he just like finds
yeah,
it to fold.
yeah,
And sometimes it's physical and sometimes it's mental. And it's like sometimes it's a combination of both. And it's like he can't be trusted. But
yeah.
I think he's a way more like talented, more athletic player than Koto. So I I think
I'm not
Koto
gonna play
is
this.
stronger mentally, but I think Bergs is more volatile. So
Yeah, I'm
it's
not gonna play this.
all right. I'm gonna be on the over in some capacity. All right, Bellucci and Wawrinka. This is GBM worthy. I'm gonna be on the Bellucci -4.
Yeah, I was hoping the line would be better. I'm not on this.
No.
I was hoping the line would be better.
Okay. I'm still on it. I think it should be like more like 5.5. Just
I have no idea how to evaluate Wawrinka because he just doesn't he plays so little tennis now. Like I don't think he's played since the Olympics.
no, he hasn't. I just I don't know. I just think Bellucci's a good athlete. I think he's gonna like extend rallies. Um, I don't know. I'm a fan of what he's doing. Like he has the track record and the results to back up this line.
He's played really well this summer.
Hmm. What about the -1.5 games in the first set at -105? That's something I was looking at too, because like Wawrinka hasn't played on hard at all, and Bellucci has all these reps. So doesn't that like lead you to believe that like Bellucci kind of will come out more ready to go?
I mean, the only thing against that, right, is like, you know, I don't know how much Wawrinka has in the tank physically at this point. He'll have something in the tank the first set, especially the serve. Like he can still serve the ball. Can he find 6 holds?
Hmm.
I hear you, man. Like I was really hoping this would come out with some kind of reasonable pick for the Bellucci money line, but
How about the Bellucci -1.5 sets then at -125?
no, I don't. I think the market's got this pretty right.
Okay. It might be a good
But
bet.
I don't. Honestly, more than that, I just don't know how to evaluate Wawrinka. Like I really don't know how to evaluate him because like
So then it's a good match to live bet.
probably yeah.
If you see Wawrinka really, lose steam.
The problem with that theory is that I've got to think the market is and whoever's setting that line, unless it's a pure algorithm,
Hmm.
I've got to think you're gonna have the same problem, like because I do think he's kind of like Wawrinka's kind of an unknown.
Right.
I might end up playing Bellucci, man, or like maybe Bellucci money line.
Yeah, that
It's
seems good.
it's juiced, but like, how does he lose 3 sets to Stan?
Yeah, Stan is he's gonna tire out at some
But he
point.
should fade. Yeah.
All right, next match, Alcaraz against Lee 2. I think I think both ankles would have had to be like sprained or broken or, with an ACL tear or, I think all of the above would need to happen for Leach to have any chance. Like, I feel
I
like
just think it's funny that the money line is minus 50,000.
crazy.
Like,
I think Alcaraz just like standing and like not being able to move and like a movement monitor on him or something. Or like it's late. I can't really think straight, but like if Alcaraz could just had was forced to stand in like one place on the court, I feel like he could still beat Lee 2. Because like Lee 2 is underpowered versus the likes of like Michelson. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm gonna back Lee 2 here.
Wow. Okay.
Not money line, but
You're gonna play the over?
so I'm gonna do something similar to the other match. I'm gonna play set 1 over 8.5
Okay.
at minus 110. Alcaraz a little bit of a slow starter. And
Yeah.
like this has nothing to do with Lee 2, right? He's just standing on the this is Alcaraz versus 11 games versus a guy standing
Yeah.
on the other side of the net. Like if Alcaraz hits balls into the net, it doesn't matter.
Right. Right.
And then the other error, if Alcaraz decides to start showing off and try to go for crazy shots and missing, like it also doesn't matter, right? Like the other play I like here is Alcaraz over 18.5 games, I think is plus 150.
I'm not quite on there. Like I think it's going to be really hard for Lee to find 5 games in a set. Like I much prefer the over 8.5. Like that's probably what I'm gonna. Like I think if there's a set that Alcaraz struggles in, I think it's the first set. And once he finds his bearings, then it's like it's gonna be good night, Irene.
What is this set 1 over 10.5?
6 plus 600.
It's kind of appetizing. I'm not gonna play it just because it's like
Yeah, it's probably like throwing your money away, right?
it's not that. Like it's more that um I just don't feel that confident. You don't mean to play it at 6-1. Like it's hard to it's really hard to evaluate that, like but
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the over 8.5 is more like believable and more like evaluatable or whatever you want to call it.
I like that. That's probably my favorite play on the board.
Yeah, like I said, I'm playing that and I'm playing the Alcaraz over 18.5. Like it's just hard for me to believe that Alcaraz isn't gonna like throw
Wow. Any
like
set to
not throw a
nil,
set away, but throw a set. Yeah.
what
I
about
know.
the no any set to nil at minus 240? You think that has value?
Yeah, I think it does. Yeah. I mean, like, no, I don't know if Alcaraz is that good at putting up nil sets, is he?
I don't think so. He did one against Shardy last year at Wimbledon. That's one I remember. I don't think he does it often.
He's got 2 this year. One against Arnoldi. That was after Arnoldi won the first set and just ran out of gas.
Yeah.
And then he's got the one against and then he's got one against Kecmanovic at the Australian Open, where Kecmanovic is just really disappointing. Yeah, I mean that's another play for me. I do think I think Lee 2 can find a game in each set. Like
In first sets against Lahal at Wimbledon, it was 7-6, if you remember correctly.
yeah, yeah.
At the French against JJ, well, I mean, that was 6-1. So, but on clay, you're more likely to have those lopsided sets than like a, quicker surface. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, last year, at the US Open. Kopfer, I mean, that was 6-2. Wimbledon last year, Shardy, that was 6-love. So I mean, I don't know. Last year, Roland Garros, Caboli, that was 6-love. So like Alcaraz does start slams pretty well.
Yeah,
But that's not supporting your play.
it's not. I don't know, I still feel like
I'm off of it. I'm off of it now. Just looking at Alcaraz's results.
for me, there's enough question marks to take the plays. Like,
If this was Mackie McDonald, I'd be all over it. If this was Jaime Munar, I'd be all over it. But like Lee 2 is underpowered against Jaime Munar.
this has nothing to do with Lee too. Like, it could be like, I mean, it could almost be like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I guess. I mean, all right, Sonigo against Paul. Sonigo's a 5.5 game dog, plus 290 on the money line, over under 37. This is a classic spot for Sonigo to win a set. I like the over 3.5 sets as a parlay piece, and I really like the Paul 2-3-1 at plus 255. I actually kind of like the Paul 3-2 at plus 420.
I'm more on the Paul 3-1.
Okay.
I'm not playing it just because I wonder what's left in the tank for Sonigo physically and mentally after that Winston-Salem run.
Mm-hmm.
More mentally than physically, you know, coming in and then having to come play, a slam match.
I still think he can find a set. Plus, Paul hasn't been good this hardcourt swing.
I hear you. I hear you. I mean, I'm not on Paul either. I'm just not on this match. But I did put down, like, if I was going to play this, it would be Paul. I might end up putting a little bit of money on the Paul 3-1.
Okay.
That's the only line I can see being playable there, though.
All right. All right. So recap of the play. So Tabilo minus 2.5. That's going to be GBM,
Yep.
right? Lestienne Thompson. Are you on anything? I don't think.
No.
No,
No.
I'm not. FAA, I'm laying the 5 against Mensick.
And I'm playing the first set tiebreak at plus 350 or something.
Oh, actually, I think I'm gonna play the FAA 3-1
Okay.
instead. So yeah, because you talked me off of it because FAA had so many first round matches that went over 3 sets.
Yeah.
We're on the Navoni money line against Altmaier. I think we're both
Yep.
on that. It's not GBM. But yeah, I'll be playing that. I'm on the Kokkinakis money line and the over in some capacity. I think you're just on the over. Is that right?
Probably on nothing now. That 40.5 is a high over under, man. I'm probably gonna just pass.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna play the Skotov Hubie over 35. I think did
And
you
I'm
have...
gonna play the set one for Skatov at 240.
Okay. All right, Taro Daniel minus 1.5 sets. I think we're both
Yep.
on that, right?
Yep. Is that GBM or not?
Yeah, I kind of like that one. I kind of like that
Really?
one. You can do
GBM.
that, GBM. All right. Coric Manarino. Did I have anything here? Oh yeah, the Coric over 20.5. You talked me into that one. Are you playing that too, or that was just a lean?
No, it's just you.
Okay. Um, Evans catching up. I think we're both off of that. My lean was
I
catching up.
might take the catching up money line at minus 300. I do that sometimes.
I might do the catching up 3-1 as well. So I'm on the Spaziri set 2 money line at plus 175.
Yeah, I'm not on this.
Okay. Fonini Mahak, I think we're both off of it, right?
Yeah. Same thing with Boyers Korea.
Yeah. I'm gonna be on the Halis -1 and -110.
Yep, I'm not on this.
All right, Forbes. You had a few playing that match, right?
I'm gonna play Forbes over 8.5 and to win a set at plus 425.
Okay. I'm gonna be on the Zhang. I think we're both on the Zhang 3-2. We're sprinkling,
Yep.
right? I'm also probably gonna play the Zhang money line. I don't know. He's just like with the dogger pass. You know, it's very tempting with Zhang, and like I think Draper's
Yeah.
valued, so
I don't disagree.
I'm gonna play it. Sinner and Mackey. I think you have plays there, right?
Yep, I'm on the over 28.5 or the over 18.5 for Sinner at -130. One of the two. Probably the latter, but it's close.
Okay. All right. What price was the over 8.5 in the first set in that match?
They're like -8 or something. Minus
Yeah.
75.
No, I'm gonna be off that. Demonor, I'm laying the 5.5 against Giron.
Yeah, I'm not on that.
Okay. Lyovic and Medvedev.
Under 19 for me.
Okay. All right. I'm off of it. I'm gonna be on the feast over 20 against Lerner.
Yeah, I won't be playing that, but I understand your play.
Um, Mute Court, I think we're both off of it, right?
Pass, yep.
Chapo,
Pass on Chapo.
you're on Facundo, right? Against Gaston.
Yep. Facundo money line plus
I'm
140
off
or
that.
Facundo plus the 3 games. You can take either one.
Yeah, I'm not playing that. I'm off Arnoldi Svajda as well. Purcell and Vukic, I think I'm gonna look for the 5-set line.
Yeah, I'm on Purcell money line there. I think I think I just don't see a huge difference between those two guys. I think it's pretty close to a flip.
All right, O'Connell money line plus 195. I
Yep.
think we're both on that. That's not GBM worthy just because both guys are struggling so much. I can't get there. Marjan Medvedevic, I think we're both off of that. Kaboli Duckworth, I'm taking the 4.5.
I'll be on Duckworth probably both. I'll probably do some sort of split between the 4.5 and the money line.
Okay. Is 4.5 GBM?
Sure.
Okay, could do that. I'm on Munar money line against Diallo. I'll be on Berg's Koto 5 sets. I think you're off of that, right? You're off of both of those, right?
Yeah, I'm on both of those. Yeah.
Okay. I'm laying the
The rest of these matches, the only other match I'm on here is the Alcaraz Lee 2, the overs there.
Okay.
The over 8.5 in set one and the over 18.5 for Alcaraz at plus 150. I know you're on Bellucci, Vavrinka, something there.
Yeah. -4.
Yeah.
I'm on Paul 3-1. And then I'm thinking about the Lee 2 Alcaraz over 8.5 in the first set, but we gotta think about that one a little more. So all right, so GBM plays will be the Duckworth plus 4.5, the Daniel -1.5 sets against School Kate, and the Tabilo, right?
Yep. Yep.
Nice. All right. So
Disagreements, kind of sad.
yeah,
Like different games that we're playing, but no disagreements.
yeah, it's too bad. No popcorn tennis on Tuesday. But
Nope.
we got more. We got some popcorn tennis on Monday.
We do, yeah.
So should be a fun couple days. A lot of matches.
Yep. Yep. A
So,
lot of matches.
a lot of matches. All right. Have a good night.
Good
luck.
luck on your bets, everyone, and have an exciting US Open.
Yep. Take care, guys.